Carla Machado. This video lecture's title is The Astrological Fractal of Conception. Carla is a founding member of Prenatal Alliance and the founder and president of ANEP Brazil, National Association for Prenatal Education. She is also an astrologist, psychotherapist, flower essences therapist, and prenatal educator. After having worked as a system analyst for 12 years at IBM, she changed gears in 1998 after the birth of her first child and became a facilitator of therapeutic women's groups that work with fairy tales and art crafts.
Well, as Guillaume said, I am an astrologer and I have been working with this theme since, I don't know, maybe 25 years now. That was my role, my first role as an independent, as an autonomous after I left IBM. And then when I gave birth to my girl, it was so I decided to change my path and work only with astrology and therapy after 12 years at IBM. And this astrological path took me to the birth world because the astrological chart is taken, at least in the Western civilization, it's taken in the very moment of birth. So I noticed that birth would be a very important moment in our lives. So it's better to take care of that the best way we can. But also, I know that in the Eastern civilization, they talk more about the moment of conception to make the chart. They use the conception moment. Today we're going to talk about the fractal of conception. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of fractal. It's like when you have a cauliflower, you take a piece of the cauliflower, you still can see the form of the whole plant into a piece. That means that reproduces the whole in the smallest parts. So it is something that will remind us for the wholeness of the thing. And the conception, it is a fractal for the whole period of pregnancy, birth, and even after. So the conception is a very important moment, and we all know here that we should prepare for it because it's like a stone that you threw on the water. Before throwing the stone, we have all the freedom. We can decide when and how much force we use it and which direction we're going to throw it. So it is, you have all the freedom before, but after, when it's launched, it's already there, and you can count on the ripples that will come after the event of conception. That would be the pregnancy, the birth, breastfeeding. So everything that comes after is derived from this very first moment. And we know from ancient traditions in Egypt, in India, the kings, the emperors, they use it to study the moment in the sky to conceive a baby. Because astrology is a way to study the relationship between the skies and the events that will happen on Earth. So it studies this connection. And in Brazil, we have a very beautiful myth. It's about the stork, the bird with the big beak, and she is the one who brings the babies to Earth. And I think it's very beautiful because it is the idea of bringing someone from heaven. I mean, we put more emphasis on the spiritual side because here we build the vessel, we build the body, we build the vehicle, but the spirit comes from the high levels, the high planes. And we need to welcome this spirit in here in order to shape this matter together with the baby. So this idea that the stork brings the baby is about connecting the heaven to earth, bringing heaven to earth. And that's what we do when we bring conscious babies to the earth. We open this opportunity for heavenly beings to come to the earth and change our planet, change the way we behave, change our society. Of course, we are here in Prenatal Alliance to change their behavior, to change the world for the best, bringing the best souls, the more well prepared to the task they should perform here. And often what I do is when I have a couple who wants to have a baby, we we study their natal charts, the chart of their own births. So we can see, even if we take here in the Western civilization, we take the birth moment to draw a chart. We can see, it's possible to see the moment of conception, the pregnancy in this chart. So we study together these two charts, through the father and the mother's chart, and we can see, of course, things to improve themselves, to clean about their own births, about their own relationships. So we relationship with the mothers and the fathers of each one of them, and then the relationship between them. And we can study a good moment to conceive, because this is a pivotal moment. So we can also share what kind of child they would like to receive, and prepare. Of course, we prepare our bodies. We can do some diets. We can do fasting, not using too much coffee or too much sugar, in order to prepare our bodies. This fasting is also a preparation for all the sacrifices we're gonna have to do after, when raising a child. We all know here it's an initiatic path, and we learn from them a lot doing that path. So we can prepare also not only the physical conditions, but we can look at the sky. For example, using the waxing moon period to conceive is a very good idea, because when the moon grows, the child will have more energy also to grow in the uterus, and that's what we need from them to grow well and healthy. Of course, we can also choose a sign for the child to be born, and this we can use 9 months before the date to conceive, in order to have these characteristics. But it's, of course, always a challenge, because we try to choose, we choose with our conscious mind. But of course, the unconscious mind also plays a very important role in this conception. And because the conception is such an intimate moment, we can suggest some periods of time, but the child will also choose. So the child will choose parents, characteristics of their parents, and he will choose also the vibration of the skies. Sometimes I have clients who has a first child, and then they come when they are already pregnant, and okay, they do a good work, but to wait for the second child. Sometimes it takes 6 years far from the first one, and they're, wow, I can't wait anymore. It's so much time. But I said, as much as we have consciousness, we will attract a higher spirit. So this spirit will choose better conditions to come. So it can take more time for them to come than, what should I say, unconscious pregnancy. So when we are like facing a negative, oh, it's not yet the time. My experience is that these kids, they are choosing the better sky to be born, the better astrological conditions. And yeah, it's a major moment. So it's like at the same time that we can study and open some doors in special moments, is also it's a moment of surrender. So we cannot control, but we can offer our best, the best of us to these kids to come. And of course, the love of the parents is very important, because the moment of conception is the moment that is linked to the moment of dying. It's not the birth that is connected to death, but it's the conception that is connected to death. So it's the way they come in and the way we came out. I don't know if it was Vanessa who talked about, she worked with palliative care. Yeah, it is beautiful because it's the portal. It's a very important portal also, because for us it's a goodbye, but for the other world, we are returning home. So we cry here, but they laugh out there, up there. And when a child is born, is the opposite. I bet for the angels, for the realms the kids came from, they're all crying because, oh my gosh, they're going to pass to a very difficult and heavy experience down on earth. So we better prepare the best welcoming. I mean, we should. I always talk about the red carpet committee to welcome babies and to do our best, the best we can to have them here with us as a transformative soul, as a transformative factor, if we allow them to have to be born safely and without pressuring them of the time, because this matter of time is so important. When we study astrology, from one day to another, you can have a Mercury retrograde, you can have the sun in another sign, and the moon, it changes every 2 days. So sometimes kids, they just wait to be born because of the chart. And the chart of conception is more like hidden, but it's even more powerful. But of course, this one we can't choose. We can't be sure it will happen at that moment. So it's all about surrendering, connecting to each other, and these three factors: the chart of the mom, the chart of the father, and the chart the baby wants to incarnate with. So this is the magical moment of conception. It's like three energies together, creating a space, creating a momentum that will reverberate through the whole life of the child. I don't know how much time do I have, Guillaume.
A bit less than 10 minutes, but maybe there's a question that I
Good.
personally
Can bring the
have.
question, please.
Well, I wonder, you answered already many questions. Obviously, I can't barely imagine the complexity of choosing an auspicious moment, not only that would correspond to the soul itself, but as well to the father and the mother. But I'm also wondering, how does it relate to the chart of conception? How does a natal chart relate to a chart of conception?
Um, Normally, it is 9 months before, so it will be in a kind of square, because, for example, if you conceive in Aries, then 9 months after, it will be April, no, it will be Capricorn, it will be January. And we have the four cardinal signs in a square. That means Aries, Libra, Balance, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn. We have them like in a cross. So there is a correlation because it is a connection, but it depends on the wholeness of the chart, because the the connection between the planets that will count more, between the planets of the conception and between the planets of the birth itself. But you're asking about the connection between conception chart and birth chart, and these will have a square. And of course, it can be facilitated by other aspects, but it is a challenge to come into the world, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Carla. We have other questions here.
Oh,
Um,
good. She's asking about conception related to death. Yeah, it's nice to. There is a whole study that says that each month of pregnancy is related to a decade of life. So the first month of pregnancy is the last 10 years of life, like the decade of 90. And of course, in the very beginning of the pregnancy, we are very connected to the soul. I remember my daughter, I saw a very old and wise man. And she was a tiny girl. But the image that came to me was a very old man, like the hermit and the tarot. And then each month will be connected to a decade of life. And the last month of pregnancy, like the ninth month, the 4 last weeks, they are linked to the 10 first years of life. That's why in the end of pregnancy, we end up kneeling and buying the clothes, the small clothes. We're very connected to the small baby that is about to come. So if we have any disturbance or joy during the period of the pregnancy, we can relate, we can expect something to happen in the later on life during the whole time life period. That's why pregnancy is so important. It keeps the power of allowing, facilitating things to happen in life.
Thank you, Carla. So we have a few questions. I don't know if we'll have the time for all of them, but you mean that a couple can ask for a special kind of child?
I believe they do, and it's heaven has a lot of qualities to give us, but the good guys, they respect our free will, so we need to ask. We need to dare to ask what we need from them, because we're not asking for ourselves. We are asking for someone else that is our child, who will be someone who can bring society to another level. Look at Gandhi, look at San Francisco, San Francois, I don't know the name in
San
English,
Francis.
San Francis d'Assise. Um, he inspired so many people, but at the same time, if you have a bad guy, it can damage a lot of people. So it's good for everyone to if you can bring inspired souls, and if you dare to ask these qualities like um, honesty, inspiration, and faith, and brilliance, and radiance. Yeah.
This is so beautiful indeed.
Mhm.
Another question, is it possible to see in our charts how was our conception? How
Yes.
were my parents when they conceived me?
Yes. Yes, it is possible. There are special ways to look at the houses and the connections between the moon and the sun, and also Venus and Mars. They are all involved. There's not an easy way that I could teach here like fast, but yeah, we can see even if there was a vanishing twin, or if they had an abortion before you. Sometimes the parents didn't know. So when someone has this characteristic in their chart, after, if I do some sessions of anatheoresis, that is a way of doing a rebirth, we can prove the person can experience this. For example, losing a twin is a very strong experience. I have been testimony when I accompany people in rebirth sessions. Yeah, there is a
Um,
lot of work.
yeah, it's unbelievable. There is a question there that asks, is in a birth chart the conception moment the same as the midheaven position?
It's linked to the midheaven position. Yes, it's linked. But we have to see all the aspects to the midheaven.
Eliette is also asking, is it a path to harmony in families?
Wow. I agree. Yeah, I agree, because we need to know, we need to, in order, I believe that astrology and the signs of the zodiac signs, they're linked to the idea of the Holy Spirit. You know, in the Bible, when they say the disciples of Jesus began to talking, to understand all the languages, they began to speak all the languages because they received the Holy Spirit. I believe that to have the Holy Spirit is to be able to understand all the zodiac signs, all the languages, that each sign will speak differently. If we expect people to speak the same language as we won't understand each other. So this idea of knowing that someone is born in another totally different way, perspective of life, way to see life, it's different than mine. So I can understand them, and it can bring peace to relationships. And it is I believe that fraternity can come when we can all understand each other, don't judge, and allowing each one to blossom, to radiate with their own energies.
Most definitely. Um, Last question. How can you see if there was a vanishing twin?
Normally, we should look at the planets in the eighth and the ninth house, and also in the third house. It is um, aspects with Mercury. Again, there is not a single way to do it. We have to look at the whole chart because the relationship between the planets, they are pivotal, and also the houses. Yeah, that the houses always indicates the earth, the moment of the physical life, more physical. So the houses will indicate the 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 shape of the experience itself in each session of life. So yeah, I hope it would be easier to explain, but I give classes like 3 years of classes in astrology to explain to my students. Yeah, it takes time, but it's beautiful, and I hope this will uh, give for you the wanting to learn more about astrology. That was my goal.
Thank you.
If it brings curiosity to you, I'm happy.
Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you for your amazing insights
Thank you,
and
Guillaume.
experience. Thank you.